몇 등으로 끝난지는 중요하지 않으니까 결국 저희가 엄청 잘해줘서 플레이오프에서 누굴 만나든 이길 수만 있으면은.
I think Rush and Move are pretty similar. Rush, he's going to be basically running around the map trying to cut everyone's head off.
Helios is the third kill, a triple for Rush. Move has made so many smart choices as a player. The move, leading up to his name, heading up to the top lane, flash, late bounce, very smart mechanical play by Move.
Now that we can control our own destiny for the first seed, it'll prove how good we are.
그래비티가 강한 팀인 건 사실인데 못 이길 팀까지는 아니에요.
Welcome everyone to week 9 of the North American League Championship Series, coming to you live from our studios here on the West Coast. Now we're heading into the final weekend of the regular season, and the fans are out in force to cheer on their favorite teams as they do some last-minute jockeying for playoff positioning. Now here you see Counter Logic Gaming arriving to the studio a little earlier. They'll be hitting the Rift after our first game, Team 8 versus Liquid. There's Team 8 in the player lounge. They've got a tough weekend ahead of them as they try to hold on to 7th place. And here's Dominate and Quas along with the rest of Team Liquid warming up. Mark, the analyst, watchful eye over their shoulders. Hello, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson, along with Aiden Zyrene Moon and Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler. Gentlemen, we made it. Final weekend of the regular season. How do we feel?
Did you have doubts that we would make it?
I don't know.
It was touch and go there for a second for Dash. We didn't tell him about it.
All right, well, we have reached that final week of the regular season, and each team has exactly 2 games left to make their mark before playoffs. So let's take a look at how they're stacked up in the standings. In first place, it's Gravity. 1 game back. In second, we have CLG, Team Impulse, and Team Liquid. TSM is in 5th, followed by Team Dignitas in 6th. Then rounding out the standings, it's Team 8 in 7th, Cloud9 in 8th, and Enemy Esports in 9th. Team Dragon Knights are in 10th and have been auto-relegated. In today's lineup, we've got Team 8 taking on Team Liquid. Then it's Team Dignitas versus CLG, and a bit later, Enemy will do battle against TSM. We'll conclude the day with TDK trying to play spoiler as they go up against Cloud9. Then in our game of the week, we're highlighting Gravity versus Team Impulse. Both teams vying for that all-important first-round playoff bye. We're talking about playoffs and the fight to win the title of North American champions, but teams are also out to bank championship points. Those will play a key role in determining which teams will play at Worlds. The first place team from the summer split will automatically claim the #1 seed from North America. The second spot will go to the team with the most championship points. And the third spot will be decided by a regional qualifier, which is seeded by those very same points. Now, to remind everyone, TSM grabbed first in the spring split and the 90 points that come along with it. They're followed by Cloud9, who has 70, and Team Liquid right now has 50. Those awards only increase with the summer split, where the second place team grabs 90, 70 go to third, and so on. Now, guys, at every level of the standings, the stakes are high, and this is one of the most competitive weeks we've ever had to close out a split. At the top of the table, we have 4 teams all within 1 game of grabbing a semifinal berth. Among them is the hottest team, Team Impulse, but the league was rocked by news that their mid laner, Zhao has been suspended for elo boosting.
Yeah, that's got to be the biggest shakeup coming into this week. Team Impulse, they were the hottest team in the league. They had the longest winning streak of any team all split long. And now one of the defining players on their team, Xiao, is not going to be playing for the final week. This is huge. Yes, they were able to get Adrian back, though, so that's a good thing for them. They'll have him back on support, and we're going to move Gate over to mid lane and see how he does. It's going to be a rough week for him, though, because Impulse actually have the toughest schedule, I think, of any of the teams this week, because they're facing Gravity and Team Liquid, you know, 2 of those top teams.
Yeah, Gate, though, he was originally a mid laner, so he'll just have to slot back into that position. We'll see how they do, but it's bad for TIP, but it's good for those teams that they're going to face, right? Team Liquid now ends up having a really easy schedule. They just have to play Team 8, and they have to play the wounded TIP. And Liquid is looking for one of those playoff buys, and they are one of the teams now that Phoenix looking like a mid laner who's in the top 2, Xiao out of the picture. I don't know if anybody can stop them from claiming one of those buys.
Meanwhile, we jump over to CLG, who look to be over their midseason slump and could be a contender to grab one of those top spots.
Yeah, I mean, they're on a win streak as well, albeit much shorter than Impulse's win streak. But CLG, they seem to have recovered. at least mentally, from their stumble in the mid-season. So that's very good for them. Also, their opponents are Dignitas and Team 8 this week. So they're feeling very confident moving towards one of those buys that you talked about. I think that they may have the easiest road to get to at least the tiebreaker position for the second buy. And they'll probably face Team Liquid, I think, now.
Without their 1-1 split. Yeah. I really want to see that game 3 out of them.
Well, then, of course, we have to talk about our first-place team, Gravity. They've got a 1-game head start, but there's a target on their backs by the rest of these teams.
Yeah, the fact that they're number 1, they didn't play like a number 1 team last week. They struggled against.
I have a small feeling that we won't see them play Vi again.
I really hope. It's not more than a feeling. I just hope that they don't play Vi again. It was just a really poor performance. He did get the smites though. Move had to pull that game.
But you can do that on any champion.
Well, you can do.
That's not a Vi
saying,
specific.
I know.
They have to have a jump to get over the pit.
Well, I said I hope they don't play Vi, but Move had an okay performance in terms of smites. Overall, not very good, though. But yeah, they lost to Dignitas, and then they ended up having to fight really hard against Team 8. But it's a sigh of relief because they have a very easy schedule. And we've been saying easy schedule here at the desk a lot, but they play TDK, and they play Tip without Xiaowei Xiao. So Gravity looks like they're going to get locked into that first-place spot. Almost no problem.
Well, a lot of shuffling around can happen in those top slots there in the standings. But before we send it over to our casters to get us into the games, head over to Twitter and send in your questions for our resident league expert and all-around good guy, Jat. Hit us up with your questions about champion builds, playoffs, or general knowledge trivia by tweeting at LOL Esports and use the hashtag AskJat. He'll be joining us a bit later on the desk to answer a few of your questions. But now, without further ado, let's kick it over to our casters for Game 1.
Thank you very much, Dash.